All right. So the first thing I wanted to address is obviously this week we found out that Pantoja will be taking on Steve ERCEG at UFC 301. And the reaction to this online has been rather mixed, I'd say is a fair way of putting it. Like when I first saw the headline, I thought people are going to go apeshit about this. You know, why is this guy getting a title shot, etc. But, you know, a lot of people have come out of the woodwork and said, actually, it's not such a bad idea. So I figured what we do to get things rolling is I wanted to know what you thought in particular about this matchup and maybe talk a little bit about how you think it might go. I mean, you know, not spoiling too much because we will go in depth, but just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
So my initial thoughts were, you know, when you see somebody who you like what they've done in the UFC and you're like, you know, if you do X, Y, and Z, you'll make your way to a title shot. You know, I'm hoping the best for you. And he's kind of that person that you're like, you know, I really hope everything works out for you. And it did. Like, he's getting a title shot. It's crazy. I mean, he's ranked number 10, so that's a huge jump. But at the same time, if you look at the flyweight division, which I'm sure everybody's gone into this, but like, as far as the top contenders, they're all rematches. Pantoja's beat all those dudes and sometimes multiple times. Like, and then we know Mokaev is coming off of a lackluster win. Manel Kape can't make the weight. Nicolao's coming off a loss. You got Perez, who's coming off of a loss. Tim Elliott's coming off of a loss. So ERCEG is the only one left. But at the same time, he's coming off of a spectacular win where he, you know, knocked out Matt Schnell and had the ref telling him, you know, how funny it was when his head was bouncing off the canvas. Like, he's coming off of a solid win. So, I mean, why not? You got Pantoja, he's fighting at home, and he really wanted to fight at home. So he had to fight somebody, and why not Steve ERCEG? But that being the case, I don't think he's being sacrificed to Pantoja. I think that there are clear ways for him to win. I do think that he has the best boxing in the division. So if Pantoja is not able to get him down to play his game and he stays in that boxing range, that's when things might get dicey for him and we might see a major upset. So I know we're going to break it down further later on, you know, when that does roll around. But for now, without even looking at the line, like, I'm sure that ERCEG is going to be an underdog. If you got some extra change, you know, in your car, in between the seat cushions, you might want to throw it ERCEG's way to see if you can make something out of that.
Yeah, this might be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of along similar lines to you. I quite like this for a number of reasons. You know, as you mentioned, obviously Pantoja has pretty much wiped out every viable contender. You've also got, you know, obviously you've got Moreno. He's technically beat 3 times. Roy Valley beat twice, one by choke and one by a very, very dominant decision, which in some ways is more impressive to me because it's not just guy made a mistake and then I caught him slipping and then got the win. He pretty much dominated him, you could say 4 rounds. He's also beaten Kape as well.
True.
Who's somebody that I wanted to see get thrust into it. I'm actually surprised that Askarov didn't pitch up out of nowhere, to be honest. You know, because he's got a win against Pantoja. I don't know what the fuck happened to that guy, but you know, that discount Marab, as I like to call him. But yeah, I'm surprised he didn't come out of the woodwork to say something about this. I don't. Maybe he's retired. I'm not sure what the full situation is with that. Amir Albazi was a name that kind of came into my head first of all because, and obviously he can't fight because of Ramadan. And again, as you mentioned, Mokaev is already too high in the rankings, and he got that shot against Perez, and despite winning, he didn't take or seize that opportunity. Whereas ERCEG did. You know, he's got his 3 wins in the UFC. 2 of them were decisions, but they were fun fights to watch. They were, you know, he performed very, very well in all of them. So timings wise, the matchup makes complete sense. You know, as you said, Pantoja wants to fight on that card, and there's just nobody else who's viable right now. What I'm hoping does come of it is timings wise again. We know that Cap's been rebooked against Nicolau. I think it's in March. I think that happens before, right? That happens before that fight. And that, you know, hopefully we get a Cap win. Then regardless of whether we get a Pantoja win or an ERCEG win, we've then got a ready-made contender who's going to come in, talk a lot of shit, and set up a potential fiery matchup for International Fight Week. Maybe you could have that as a fluffer, maybe get that in there. So yeah, I like the way that this is going. The only issue that I have of it is not the matchup itself, but I think where a lot of the anger is coming from is it's not a main event of a numbered card, and I think that's where a lot of the frustration is coming from. Now it may turn out to not be that way, and there is still some time, but the way that the card is shaping up and the amount of fights that are already on it, it could end up very much, you know, headlining that card, and I think that's the issue. You know? Yeah.
I mean, but truth be told, the last time they were down in Brazil, the way that the fans acted, I don't know if they deserve a ton better than this. They might need to be taken down a little peg or two.
Yeah, like, they do deserve some punishment for that.
Disrespectful, man. One of your own, and you guys just walk out on them. Like, come on, man. So that's what you want to do. Then here's this Pantoja ERCEG main event. How about that?
Then give them a fight night. I don't know why you reward them with a numbered card, and then you say
it should have been a fight night.
Stack it like dog shit.
You know, and that's another thing is like all title fights. You know, all title fights don't have to be on numbered cards. They don't have to be. And I know that, you know, the Valentina Shevchenko, Alexa Grasso fight last time wasn't on a number card, but most of them are. You don't have to do that. You can,
especially at flyweight as well, that has such little prestige about it already. Like,
I mean, these divisions that kind of struggle, they put them on free cards to build up, you know, the expectation of the next one. Because now that you did Grasso Shevchenko on a non-number card, and, you know, built it around the Mexican heritage thing, the next one is a little bit bigger. I mean, the Ultimate Fighter might drag it down, to be honest, but it's a little bit more anticipated, maybe.
As well. That's something we should have talked about today as well. That's the one that slipped my mind. You know, ripping that whole thing, and maybe we can do it later on in the week. But like, you're right though.
I feel like I feel like they lean too much on making sure that every numbered card has to have a title fight of some sort. It has to have a big fight, but it doesn't always have to have a title fight. And all championship fights are not worthy of being headliners on number cards. It's just not it. Leon against Bilal, come on. Is it going to headline a card at some point?
Yeah, I'm amazed that didn't get made. I mean, I know it's in Brazil, and that's probably why. But they're both there. You know, I think if the money was right,
they got to get their fight out the way. They need to hurry up.
Yeah, they really do. I don't want that lingering around.